announcement.
Splash FM 106.7.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM. As I got into the studio this morning, I was was given a greeting of Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I had to ask in arrears or in advance, but apparently, and that's because it's the season that we find ourselves in, and it's, hope you have your plans for Christmas in place as well as the New Year. It does no harm to get started with all of those plans. I mean, it's usually the season to eat a lot and merry, and of course, I would just usually like to say that you should enjoy responsibly. Welcome to the show. This is Panorama on Integrity Radio Dial, Splash 106.7 FM, situated in Abeokuta, Nigeria. This program has two segments, basically. We have the issue of the day, which is the very first segment that we are in right about now. And then much more later from 9 o'clock, we'll have From the Pages. And today, you would have to indulge us as I'll be the only person to anchor the show today. They are slightly indisposed, and so, of course, the show must carry on, and that's because you are the most important part that we always factor into coming up with our programming, and so that has to go on regardless of anything. Of course, we do wish there a speedy recovery regardless. I am Benga Fayon, and for our issue of the day today, would look at Nigeria's fight against corruption and the indices as well as ways of tackling this menace. Of course, if you've been around for quite a while, you'd have been maybe gotten tired of hearing the word corruption and how it's become an endemic, a pandemic, or any other IC you want to add to that word to just qualify the whole issue of corruption. So we'll get into all of the statistics, all of the indices, all of the numbers, and maybe perhaps we're looking in the wrong direction all of the while. You do me a little bit of favor as well, because WhatsApp would not be accessible for this morning. And so if you need to send comments and you want to type them, just ensure you go straight to Facebook at Splash FM 1067, at Splash FM 1067. There's a live video feed you find there. You can drop your comments as the conversation progresses. I'll read them out as it concerns the conversation. And I'll do this morning for the entirety of the show, by the way, with Delo Ayodo, who is a veteran. You could also call him a father in the business. Delo Ayodo, good morning to you. Thanks for coming.
Morning, Benga. Morning, everybody. Good morning, Ogun. And good morning, Nigeria.
All right, then. So many have tagged this scourge as an invincible monster. Other adjectives that have been used to qualify include a masked money-eating snake, a chameleon that disguises even more than the reptile itself. It becomes the sun of the day, the moon of the night, and the bead stars of the sky. Many believe that corruption is a worldwide phenomenon, but the brazen boldness with which it thrives in the nation borders on disbelief for many people, with several administrations in the past and even currently coming to power on the mantra of our corruption will be ended. What have been the stumbling blocks? Why has this menace festered for so long? Are there indices that are being ignored? These and many more questions would seek to answer this morning as we look once again at Nigeria's fight against corruption, the indices, and of course ways of tackling the menace. Dele, to get started with, are there even areas we're not looking at as it concerns corruption? I mean, like you heard from the prologue I just read, a lot of administrations come to power and the mantra of corruption will be ended, would end the scourge, but for some reason they fail woefully at the end of the day.
Thank you, Benga. It's a shame that one of those, perhaps the most topical thing you discussed in the country is corruption. And again, I said it's a shame because it's been here. We permitted it to grow. Every other word you use to describe the level or the stage of corruption in this country is correct, except the invincibility. Yes, it's a monster, but it is not invincible. It is not. We'll go into that, I'm sure. With our corruption with us, if you go through this speech of those young Nigerians who led or who staged the first military coup, the first overthrow of government in 1966, you'll find the word corruption there. Part of the reason was that our political leaders on that occasion were corrupt, and they needed to salvage the country from those corrupt leaders. Again, from that time, 1966 till today, we had several leaders, and of course, just like you said, it has become a mantra. The indices are the same while it's growing. Lack of political will, or lack of the will of leadership to stop it. That's the main one out of all. Everyone who has come at the end of it is also found to, if not corrupt or more corrupt. I can't say this of this present head of government. I can't say that. I've always believed it. I still believe it. That our president, my president, Muhammadu Buhari, is one Nigerian who has the intent, he has the vision of fighting corruption for Nigeria. In quote, or comparatively, as a Nigerian, is also not corrupt or is less corrupt than Nigerian. But some people, my younger brother, a lawyer, will come with another argument every time we find ourselves on the different side talking about it. So yes, you may say you excuse him, but it appears he looks at the other side when corrupt people are doing the business. So how then can you say it's not corrupt? Sometimes I'm dumbfounded. I don't have an argument against that, but there are other factors perhaps that a lot of us, perhaps myself, Delo Ayodo, is not seeing. That's why I said, again, the indices are almost the same in why it's growing. I know by research, investigation, that corruption is everywhere. The difference between our corruption and why our own is growing are very known to people. One, like I said of my president, appeared that those who should do something, who have the power to do something, are not doing anything, or are not doing something enough to stop it. Social problem. There are some social natural problems that helps corruption to grow. People will also talk about judiciary, a punitive system, not there. People will also talk about the ease in which people can get corrupt. I don't know if questions cause opportunity. All these, there are so many things there. But why I said it is not invisible is because we all know this. I'm sure, yes, again, every adult Nigerian know the problem of this corruption. We know why we are corrupt. We know half of why we are corrupt. Then that means we can solve it. We can solve it. So what is absent? To me, the only most important thing absent is that political will. Because truly, not even Dele Ayodo or anybody, if I decide to be on the seat and decide, yes, I want to reduce it, you cannot be reduced to ground zero, but reduce it to a respectable figure, say 70, 80%, and make people, scare people from getting corrupt, particularly from government issues. You'll discover that perhaps including your own mother and father will be sacrificed for it. So maybe that's the point in which we need to get to. And I use a statement here. A lot of people, I remember, almost called for my head, say they are disappointed, particularly my good friend at Egbon, Big Egbon, Motai Roberts, when I said, part of those big things that must be done people must be sacrificed. If we must end it, yes. Part of the punitive, just like you say, is a monster. And when you are dealing with a monster, you don't just go with bow and arrow. You also approach it with different arms and ammunition, sophisticated, modern. So that's what we should use if you indeed want to fight corruption. As I'm saying it, we don't have effective means. Government says they are fighting, EFCC will say they are fighting. Believe it. No, they are not even deterring people. Honestly, they are no longer deterring people. I don't want to go into what I discovered lately about EFCC itself, particularly the Lagos office, from my research investigation. I just lost hope completely in that arm of government's ability to fight corruption to a reasonable end. Again, I kept repeating that to let people know that it may not get to grandeur. China, where corruption, death penalty, there is still corruption. South Africa, that we know, you are aware of the case of Jacob Zuma going on and all those things. So sometimes the indices, the reason for it growing are synonymous, they're similar. But the important is what you do to scare people from doing so.
Okay. Looking at this still, I would also love for us to, like I referenced before, administrations in time past and even the current one always come up with this manifesto of the fact that they would end corruption and bring it to the barest minimum at the very least. But sadly, at the end of the day, it's usually the same tale at the end of the day. The question is, do these individuals that find themselves at the corridors of power, I mean, I've heard people talk about how there's something about the seats that is being occupied at whatever level, like a councillor, a governor, his deputy, the chairman of a ward, a senator, a House of Reps member, a state legislator, I mean, call anything at whatever level. That there's something about the city that once, even someone who has good intentions, once he gets there or she gets there, then they begin to act contrary to what they are told millions of Nigerians prior to getting into power and getting elected into office. The question is, do these people underestimate how big the fight is in going into office?
I don't think they underestimate it, but what perhaps they don't foresee or don't have answers to is how courageous they will be in dealing with it. I just talk about even Delo Ayodo speaking, decided that hey, at the point realize that even your own mother and father and perhaps your entire sibling will have to be sacrificed. So when you get to that point, believe it, I know that's a big step to take. Perhaps those are one of the two. But we talked a lot about this corruption, and of course, somebody like me talk about a lot. This morning, I spent not less than 30 minutes speaking with unknown people, talking about the problem of Nigeria and what or where the solutions should come from. One, I now begin to imagine, I don't know if this can be practicable when you get to the seat, because you are talking about when you are on the seat now.
Right.
That, like I said, first, I assume that every Nigerian is corrupt. Assumption. Okay. Including Delo Ayodo as the president. Corrupt. But because I've determined, I've made up my mind, a lot of leaders, and all those Chinese leaders, it's the same trace. That determination, that vision, this is where I want to get to. To anybody who wants to stop me from getting there, that's why I kept using the word will be sacrificed for my moving forward. Now, Delo Ayodo as president be on the seat. And of course, I've assumed that everybody is corrupt. There are some people, because of our cultural, a lot of things, please understand this, comes together to let it grow. For instance, again, Delo Ayodo as president, I look at myself, there are so many people, 1,001 people, that I have in my life from day one that will tell story to me. And when I reflect on this, I say, I don't have to deal this cruelly, in quote again, or badly with this person, because he has at a point in time when I was helpless, helped me. When I was nobody, or when I was dying saved my life. Because of our cultural system. I don't know. I think Nigerians now, the communal system is fading away. We can have, I don't know, the younger ones can say, for this time my children can say, basically, outside my mother, nobody can say has done this for me. But I can't say that of myself. I can't count the number of people who paid my school fees. I can't count the number of people who have given me medicine that are not my relations, who has clothed me, taken care of me when I was sick, who are not my blood relations. So when I'm big and they come and remind that, is it not you? That's to the point that when you were shivering like at the Etokosomi, that we did this for you, we did for you. And realistically and naturally or religiously, you want to reflect and say, anybody. You understand that? So that's a major problem, really. That's a major problem. That's why it's my father's cousin's friend. You know that. In developed world, that's why they're in Africa or in Nigeria, it's English or it's academic where we say immediate family, or what do they call it, blood relation. There's nothing like that. There's no uncle in our language. There's no niece. There's no nephew. It's just my brother, my sister. And you have Babagba to clarify the seniority.
Right.
So there's nothing like grandfather. Father is father. So all these things make it, you understand me, make us one. Look at it. Because, so now go back to the theory I just continue to wave in my head. Seated there and I say, okay, because of this, I know. I'll now say, okay, from today, the 15th or 16th day of December, that I resume as the president, I draw the line. You, Gbenga Fayon, will be coming for 50 years. We've done this. Your sins are forgiven. Before 16th. You understand? Right. And every other person that say, Omowa Padiwati, president and all those things, your sins are forgiven from 16th. I'll close my eyes. But from 17th December forward, please, you're on your own. Anything you do, you have to pay for it. You understand that?
Right.
So it simply means, like I'm just saying to tell you that means you don't want me to succeed. If after that date that I've drawn, you still continue to do those bad things, that is injurious to our people, to the country. You understand? So
right.
Many of them.
Generally.
So that means you don't have respect for me. You don't want me to succeed. You are against my government. I've said every other one that you have done is your own. Use it to build your future. And look at that. Is that not possible? Then with that, I can now deal with Benga, who is my best man, when I got wedded 50 years ago. And my conscience will say, you have done well. You understand? And like we say in Yoruba, let down immediately will say, you have done well. Is that not possible? Just theory. That's some of those things I think in my head, because I understand some of these difficulties that are cited from those cultural and traditional effects that hinder people from doing. That's one. Two, honestly, one, these are more practicable and realistic and, of course, civil and modern. Can I get to reduce the workload, the number of arrests, the number of people, the EFCC, the SFU, and all these people will have in their custody? So if I do that, they'll be able to get focus. So if it is 3 they are dealing with, they will deal with that 3 effectively and conclusively. You understand? I'll spend less in all those ones. How do I do that? It is a natural thing. That's why, of course, the English also say it. A hungry man is an angry man. And Yoruba will say, it is true. It is natural. It is sadly that what they say, I'm sorry for those who do not understand Yoruba. These are simple cliches we say all the time. But understand that we are not solving that. We are not solving the fear of the future, the fear of the unknown. It is a natural thing. I have 6 children, or let me say 4. They are not too big as a family. I have 1 wife. I'm going to work for 35 years. I'm going to retire at age 60. By the time I'm retiring, maybe my last child will still be in school. The eldest have graduated but has no job. So he's still going to be in my house. I'm still going to be responsible. I don't have a house. I'm a tenant because I decided I'm not going to take a kobo from this government work or public work that I'm doing. I'm going to live with my salary and emoluments alone. Benga, I will think about that. These are natural things. And I get scared. I don't want to see my children after I've worked. They need 1,000 naira for an emergency thing. I can't afford to get it because my pension will not cater for it. My pension will not come early. You understand? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be scared. December is coming. January is coming. That's when we pay our house rent. In those days, I heard government want to, was it Fachola also who said it was going to be a law. I know it can't work. It's not practicable. I will return to the days when I was a young boy. The first time I rented a house, it was monthly. That makes it convenient. It was some of us who were perhaps earning big, according to us, so that I can have time. I won't be thinking of this every month. I have to pay the 35 naira, which was the house rent for a room then. So let me just pay a whole year, and it became a practice. You know, what I'm saying is all those necessities, the basics that will enhance and give me confidence that I will have a comfortable future at an age in which I will no longer have a work because I can no longer be employed or because my bones or veins are failing or aching. The process of me becoming a house owner must be perfected by the government. The process of me ensuring that there are some ailments that are common to us. Malaria, I don't know how many people can avoid catching cold of malaria in 12 months. An average price you pay if you don't want to do self-medication is 3,500. The least. It could go to 712 for malaria, which is common. So if you're unfortunate, it happened to me while I was raising my children. It was like this, the two of them that they planned for me. The two of them will just start it at the same time. Or when one finish today, tomorrow the other one picks it up. You understand that? So, and I'm scared of those ones. In other words, what I'm saying, the government should also provide. We say we have a national health insurance scheme. Right. Is it working according to our satisfaction? The answer is no. I don't want to mention many of those hospitals. Once they want to give you more than killing tablets, or the analgesic or so, NHS is not covering it. You understand that? So those are issues I will look into first as a government, because that will reduce the burden. It will reduce the urge. It will reduce the itchy fingers from stealing, because we have confidence. But those are the things you need money for. It's not all of us that have the tendency of stealing. But because of this same condition, I have people in my life. I've said this here or somewhere there. My own stepfather was a retired permanent secretary. He could not afford to build more than 3-bedroom flat in his village in Koka. That was the highest he could afford because he refused to steal. And all other subordinates bought houses in UK, in France, in Vienna. And when I see people like that, you think that becomes a model? Nobody does not like good life. Nobody. The skin loves good things. So that natural tendency is there. So you have to fill the gap. You have to do something that will stop people from that urge. We are not doing that. We are not. That's the truth. Before we go to the ones I see as more sophisticated, the class system. I have somebody, a classmate of mine. He was an idiot. Sorry for using that language. Like one of our governors would say, brainless. In class. We know ourselves. We were no more than 32 when we wrote the school cert. While we were rushing, seeking admission to Koda, he told us straight, he's not going to any school. Some of us have helped me to pass his school cert, that's all he needs. And he joined in then NITEL. in Nigeria then. And believe it, before my 2-year course OND, I had already bought a car. He was already building a house. That was the era in which just carrying the akaba, the ladder, by United staff. At that time, 80s, 84, 83, just carrying the akaba will give you almost 1,000, 2,000 naira, which is equivalent of almost 1 million naira today. So you could afford it. And truly, before we begin to say, he's already gotten married when we were afraid. He's already riding a car. He is already coming to give us money. You understand that? In my area, people say we are prone to smuggling. They call it smuggling. I say international trade business. There are people who are graduates, NC holders, BSc holders, who went into it simply because they have this same experience of mind that those that dropped out, they don't even have the school cert. Before they finish from the University of Polytechnic or wherever, they've already had 3 chieftaincy titles because they have money to spend. Sometimes these things are difficult to resist. They are very difficult to resist. So government needs to clear all these are the basics. So if you are not clearing all these things, there's no amount of job BFCC does. And I say it loudly. You are just making another avenue opportunity for these young ones in those different security agencies to make money too. Because they are also using that power and the uniform. Not all of them, but many of them. Restored. So these are things government must do before we begin to say this. And of course, our constitution, the punitive system must.
Okay, you referenced something before. You mentioned, the example you tried to cite at the time was, okay, if you became president today or you occupied a seat of power and you have family ties or close relations with people, and then the day you get elected into that office, you sort of, okay, all the records or all of your past deeds are forgiven. Can we liken that to what happens with cross-carpeting? I mean, I don't want to, my business this one is not to call names, but we know them, where an individual crosses from one party that is not the ruling party to the ruling party, and then all of the charges seemingly get dropped. We don't hear anything about the case again. Is that what happens? And that even predates when such a person gets into power?
Benga, with all honesty, I would say there are similarities in my style. The perhaps minor difference is that, like I said, I've ruled the red line. I've given a date. So if you want to cross carpet, I permit you before that December 16th date. And remember that whether you cross carpeted or not, you must not go back to your vomit from the 17th. So it's not because you have joined me. Does that as I agree that's a matter, but the difference is what I'm just saying. So right from 17th, everybody becomes equal. So whether you cross carpet or not, you are going to be treated in the same manner. If from the 17th, you go back and do the same thing. So you are not looking at whether it's cross carpet. But yes, you want to say, okay, that's cross carpet. But mind you, it's not just for me, my friends. You understand? There are some people really, the truth is they can rock the boat. I'm being sincere, and anybody who does not want to fool himself will know that that's the fact with Nigeria today. That by the time they touch and touch and touch, it will touch you. It's the sacrifice. Giving unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Kata, Epo, sorry issue. You understand? So it's not just for family and friends. It's not just for anybody I know. It's for everybody. But that policy comes about because I know that there are some people that I'll still need. I will need them. The world is a good. I cannot run it alone. There's no way I won't have ministers. There's no way I won't have aides. There's no way. And all these people cannot just be those I know. They will be recommended for me. You understand? Right. There are some of them I'll just pick from the fact that there are people, everybody has it, that you don't know them, but you just like them for one thing or not. Hey, come and work with me. That was what Bill Clinton did. I understand that's the way Al Gore, his vice president, was picked. Nobody recommended it for him. They don't even know each other. People like that are people, that's what I'll do. Hey, Mr. Gbenga, I've been monitoring. I like what you are doing as a broadcaster. Come and join me. Come and do this for me. I don't have to know you. I'm going to call you straight. So it's for everybody. It's not just for my friends. It's for everybody that I know will have something to do with government.
All right, you're listening to Panorama. This is Splash 106.7 FM, the Integrity Station. If you so love to jump on the conversation by the way of comments and you trying to type something, we'll pay attention to the calls very shortly, but not exactly now. Just head straight to Facebook. The handle is at Splash FM 106.7. The handle is at Splash FM 106.7. And you could easily drop us comments on Facebook and would gladly oblige reading any of those comments as you send them in, okay? WhatsApp, like I did reference before, is not available in the interim, and that's just for now, okay? We'll work on getting back up and all of those things. So feel free to head straight to Facebook and drop your comment right there at Splash FM 106. If I see a couple of them, I will not get to them. I will not read them right out now, but as we progress with the conversation, and we're looking at the issue that surrounds Nigeria's fight against corruption, and we're also looking at the indices and ways of tackling the menace. My guest this morning is Delo Ayodo, who is a veteran, by the way. Again, on Facebook, feel free to drop your comments and the live feed that you find there. That's at Splash FM 106.7, at Splash FM 106.7. I would read your comment out loud. Maybe I can take a call or two before we get back to... I have more questions for Dele, by the way. You can call 0817 444 1067 0704 400 1067 and 0817 555 1067. By the way, just note the numbers down. I'll get to the calls very shortly. But Dele, one of the things that I have also heard in recent times, well, let's play around some numbers now. I understand that statistically Nigeria has the third highest rate of unemployment, and it's currently pegged at 33%. As a matter of fact, in 2018, Nigeria overtook India, which ranked second world poverty capital, after with over 60% living below the poverty line of $1.90 per day. As a matter of fact as well, the World Bank forecasts that 11 million people more will slip into poverty this year, 2021, bringing the total to above 100 million citizens. With all of this, if we look at unemployment and poverty, which one has been more hazardous and has not helped that fight against corruption?
Are they not twin brothers? Unemployment, poverty. I think they are the same. Or they are very close blood relations. Unemployment, of course, because that's a means of getting something to survive. So poverty is when you don't have any means of surviving, either what to eat, clothes, immediate need, how to solve your immediate need. And people also talk about the poverty of ideas, but we are talking of social poverty now, I believe. That's what so if you are talking of social poverty, unemployment, I think they're the same thing. It will be hard if you have a means of survival and then you get socially poor. That's what developed countries, United States of America, is doing seriously, particularly with this pandemic and those things. That's the tradition, the culture of United Kingdom. They realize this, that if you are unemployed, you will be poor, socially poor. So that's why they came with the different, what do they call it? The check is called gyro in UK. That's the name we give it. They said, something, I've forgotten. Okay. But it's social benefit money. It's a stipend, but it's enough for you to eat. And once that gets out of it, you can sit down on your own and think of how you get out of that inability to have something to eat. It's different from you are still thinking of how to eat. You understand? So unemployment and poverty is the same thing. And poverty is related to so many ills. Of course, it's traceable to social unrest, to violence, to crime, unemployment, and then poverty too is the same thing. So, to me, they are the same thing.
Okay, maybe it's time perhaps to get to the telephone line. Again, the numbers are 0817 444 1067, 0704 400 1067, as well as 0817 555 1067. Our topic of discourse this morning for the issue of the day is centered around Nigeria's fight against corruption, the indices, as well as ways of tackling the menace. But let me also draw Dele back to something that you also referenced before. You see, when we have that scenario whereby, regardless of whether you're related to anyone or not, the moment you come into power, I
draw the line, the red line.
You draw the red line, exactly. How, if you now set up agencies that are supposed to help in the fight against corruption, maybe not exactly fight it, when they now get to the point whereby they unearth or uncover things that have been done in the past that should be punished, what do they do? Does that not mean that they would have to jettison their process of investigation?
No, I've said that, okay, those are the consequences I've just said, because if you, from the day you cross carpet, to use your word, and you get what I call amnesty, you continue to live in your sins. What it just means is, one, you are disrespecting me. Two, you don't want me to succeed as the president. And three, you are rebelling, you are fighting me. So I'll fight back. At that time, you are no longer mine. I no longer know you.
Regardless of what relationship
that's the interpretation. That's why I no longer know you. So the law must take it, and part of the problem why our corruption system is not working is that because we are not allowing all these agencies to be independent. The reality, the truth, Benga, today, part of our culture, you will say that will be our tradition, is that all you need to know is they know that Benga Fayon is the best man of Mr. President Delo Ayodo.
Right.
Benga does not have to consult me. The next person who wants to do the thing only have to use your name. Or no, so you, Benga, only have to give the instruction.
Right.
And the Inspector General of Police, knowing that our relationship, I don't want to give name. I have examples of it that happened in this country. Who is just a friend of Mr. President. They see him, he does not fill papers in Nassau Rock. He comes in and out anytime. I know what he was doing. He was another president in our community. And everybody just run to him. You have to kneel down, you have to pray. And he gets there. In my presence, he will call IG, he will call the then custom controller and give him instruction like the president will give instruction. I say, yes, sir. Oga, yes, sir. Those are the defects in our culture and tradition. So you, Benga, does not even have to brief me as your friend. I may not even know. They don't even have to come to me. Once they see you, to them they've seen the president. I'm even talking of those I gave the assignment to, because they know you can influence what I will say about them. They will not be there when you are talking about them to me. That Lola woman that you made Inspector General, she's this, she's that, she's that, negatively. Or she's this, she's that, positively. And it works. So they believe you. That's part of the thing. Even as a commissioner of police, I have a lot of them as my friends. As my younger ones, Papa, commissioner of police, I relate very well. And I see, it's what they are, Oga. Not even the one in Abuja, the AIG, the DIG, and of course, again, with assistant, it depends on who you know, how you got there. No, some people will say, Wale Guleyin. The Tanya will bypass you. So all those should not happen.
Okay, let's indulge those who have been calling for a while now to be part of the conversation. topic of discourse once again this morning borders on Nigeria's fight against corruption. We're looking at the indices and ways of tackling the menace. And perhaps you've been around for a while and you also want to jump in on the conversation. It's okay. And like I did reference before, and I'll say it again, if you want to be a part of this via way of texting or sending text, by the way, just use Facebook, okay? Can easily access that more easily. WhatsApp is not available, at least in the interim. Let's get to the calls now, one after the other. Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
My name is Ola from Obantoko.
Ola from Obantoko.
Thank you. I want to first and foremost Padilla for the submission as regards the topic of discussion. And now I want to say something. In Nigeria, corruption is based in the black level. And how is it possible? How are all these Arab countries doing it? Or the China, for instance, how are they doing it? The only thing that can stop corruption is what Padilla just said. Now you have to draw a red line between yourself and the family member. Two, one person cannot do it all. Buhari is just one person out of so many people. Only Buhari cannot do it in everywhere in this country. And we have to make sure that our law stands. It's just because people at the ends of affairs looking at these laws are the ones not making these things working. If, for instance, you observe somebody has done something and a law that must be followed is on the ground, whether you are a family member of somebody or you are a known person or not, let the law take its course. But in this country, we have to always patch things, looking at is my family member, is relative to this, is relative to that. These are the things that is not making this thing work in this country. So until we stand on it, okay, this person has been found guilty, and let the law take its course. I'm sure the correction at least will be taken to the DRS.
All right. Thank you very much, Ola, for talking to us. Let's hear from this person as well. We'll start to order callers again. We might have another call on the other line, on several other lines, by the way. The numbers, just in case you want to dial, 0817 444 1067. Here is another caller now. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Afolabi.
Yes. Yeah, Afolabi is my name.
Thanks for calling us. Go on, please.
Mr. Ayodo, thank you so much for this submission. You have spoken very well, and you have given us some insight into how to change the corrupt situation or corruption situation. Now, I also want to say that our leaders have a lot to do, because most of them serve as a role model to a lot of people, and we discover that there has been this decadence in the characters of this, just because of what we see as the top. And that is why the change must start from the top and the leaders that we see publicly. Now, and apart from that, I also want to, maybe you can shed more light on these three things. What is your perspective of religion in corruption? Because we all know, and we are all aware of what obtains in this country when we talk about religion. And that is totally different from what is practiced from those people that brought the religion to us here. Then there is one other angle to it. Corruption is not only on the financial basis. I think you can also use your office to influence decisions to favor you or your relatives or your people. Then I think that one too is a corruption. What will you say about that as well? Then and the last one is this. Some of the time when you go to maybe a government office or public office, somebody will do the normal job, and you see our people without being asked, they will say, "Oh, let me appreciate you." That appreciation, what has that explained to that person that you are showing the appreciation to? The appreciation may be in form of giving money. Does that not amount to corruption from the initiator of that appreciation? So
These three things, please, I want you to just shed light on them.
All right. Thank you very much, Afolabi, for calling. Dele will answer your questions, but let's take one or two more calls so we can just have all of them together. 0817-444-1067, 0704-400-1067, and 0817-555-1067. I did reference before, but I'll say it again. If you want to be a part of this via way of typing something, just ensure you use Facebook instead. I'll not be able to access WhatsApp this morning, so use Facebook. The handle on Facebook, I see a lot of comments there already, is at Splash FM 1067, at Splash FM 106. Perhaps you should, Dele, just attempt to answer Afolabi's questions. He answers three of them. I know one of them bordered on religion, and he asked about...
three. One, he talked about the influence of family and friends, as he talked about corruption, not just about financial corruption. That's social. I agree, and I've spoken on them. But of course, the third one, he talks about gratis as inducing corruption. Let me start from that last one. I talk about tradition, culture. I'm a practical person. For those who know me, you know, realistic. They are there. It is our culture to give, to show gratitude at every instance. That's why in Yoruba land, if you are happy, working, adupe inu yin dun, Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kí inú yín dùn, ẹ káàárọ̀, ẹ kú jókòó, ẹ kú dúró. These are greetings that happen. It shows who we are. We appreciate those things. But of course, there's also another adage. Yoruba also has a word for it. To say when the handshake is getting beyond the elbow, it is no longer a friendly one. Amo, kiki, ako, kiki, abo. Those are the other side that we know when you are going beyond just saying thank you. For government circle, I know of corporate companies because they also know that gratis is part of our culture. What they do is you don't give money as gratis. You don't give cash as gratis. That's one. Why you don't give gratis before, you don't collect before you finish the job. So those ones are there stated clearly and in simple terms. So I will not say because I do it. That's who we are. The gate man opens the door, the gate for you, he's doing his job. So it's who you are doing both. I remember I work in UK. On Christmas Day, when I know what will have been happening to me in the street of Lagos, the only person, I worked 24 hours then, from the night of 24 to the night of Boxing Day. Boxing Day, so for a battery at the gate man at King's Cross Station, where they have the National Library today. The only gift I got was from one person. It was a chocolate bar. Chocolate. And I know how much I will have collected if it's in Nigeria during that period, where we have over 1,000 cars came to park and give tickets to them. I know what that means. Anyway, I'm just explaining what our culture, the difference is. We must recognize them. We must apply them to our gains and positives, not to the other side. We also know how we do it. We know when the gratitude is an inducement. We know that. I hope by that explain that. Two, to family and friends. I said it at the beginning. That's why I said it's hard for somebody of my generation to say you want to cut off completely from everybody. In those days, we call them me and my wife, or we call them Baba Loimbo. When you have a house that has a fence, it's not in our culture that I have to knock before I go into your house. And the reality is that it still exists. There are positivity in it. So when I say family and friends, I've also explained it. That's why I use Benga as the example. That Benga does not have to brief me at all. I may not even know. I don't want to mention name. I have name of somebody like that. Those who lived in Songo will know what I'm talking about. And I know that a lot of those things does not get to the understanding of Mr. President. But because we know he's close to Mr. President. But I also mentioned that as my family, as my friend, You know my policy. We all know each other in the family. But Dele, you already know him.
Right.
And he has said, if you want to respect me, if you want to make us, not just me now, enjoy my tenure as government, these are things you must do. I've permitted you as my immediate brother. They gave you a contract of $1 billion. You did not execute it. You used the money for so many things. I've permitted you before I assumed office. But from the next day, they now gave you a contract of 100,000. And you still want to do like you did before that day, you'll be punished. Yoruba has it. Tí o bá fi ara eléyàn jogun, ara ta ò ní mọ̀ pé ògùn ẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́.
Okay, let's hear from this person as well, and we'll get to the comments much more later. Hi, good morning. I know you've been calling for
Good
a while.
morning, Nicholas from Abeokuta.
Nicholas, thanks for calling us.
There's a book in the Apocrypha by
Sorry, Nicholas.
yeah.
Permit me for 1 minute. I just sent a message to you.
Okay.
Our this thing is of this discussion with you. Our arrangement is off. I'm sure you understand.
It's okay.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. It's okay. Yeah. That book is called Shivak, and in it said a city owes its excellence due to the intelligence of her leaders. Now, in Plato's Republic, he grouped those who should handle the state as those grounded in philosophy. Now, when you look at our country, we bypassed a lot of processes and got our independence on a platter of gold. So a lot of sacrifices were not made. And as such, most of our presidents, they were reluctant leaders. It's like you were bringing somebody there because somebody died or somebody came through good luck. And the ones that even had the good intentions were short-lived. Murtala Muhammad and Yadwa died. Now, check whether you are in Castro's Cuba, which is a Marxist-Leninist socialism, or you were in Thomas Sankara's Burkina Faso, or Jerry Rawlings' Ghana, which was the military state, or Lee Kuan Yew's Singapore, or even UAE, which is a maximum theocracy, leadership was key. And like he said, poverty, the poverty arises from injustice. Injustice is the oxygen that fuels poverty, and it's also the oxygen that leads to insecurity and crisis. So, and there was a Chinese philosopher, Confucius. He said, in a poor country, wealth is something to be ashamed of, and in a rich country, poverty is something to be ashamed of. But when you retire as a honest man and you can only boast for 3-bedroom apartment, and your children still depend on your pension, your models will be people like Minor, who packed the billions and is just giving 5 years, and he will stay in the VIP section of the prison. So if I know that I will pack with 200 billion naira, why wouldn't I steal? So you can see that there's a faulty foundation of the country. We killed the public schools, and now we're having people dying in the private schools. We killed the public hospitals because our leaders will go for checkup in London. And that's why you will see London has lifted the travel ban, because they know that Nigerians will come and do party here. They will watch. There are more Nigerians supporters of English football. So England and Nigeria, they are like Chris Brown and Ribi Hannah. They know themselves, but they will just pretend as if they don't know what's happening. So the issue, but we are still at the level of onions. In a state where there are more traditional rulers.
Okay, Nicholas, we have
sorry. In a state where there are more traditional rulers than good roads, cholera and explosions we abound. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Nicholas, for talking to us. I was going to ask you about military incursion and all of that, but I'll hold that thought. Maybe we'll take a call or two right after we come back from the commercial break, and of course, read your comments on Facebook. Not moving also, just ensure to sit tight.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
We educate. That's why we are respected. We inform. That's why we are loved. More music. We are the best. The Integrity Station.
106.7.
lójúmọ́ tí wọ́n lónìí ní ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ tó ti gbòde pàápàá lórí iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ tí ọ̀tọ̀ ọ̀kùnrin náà fẹ́ kó lé lórí iléeṣẹ́ kan rèé tó ṣetán láti fún àwọn ènìyàn láǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ tó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀. aláṣeyọrí class home and property limited ní bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti ń ralẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ tiwọn àwọn àǹfààní tẹ́ jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ pọ̀ pàápàá ilé oko òṣèlè àgbẹ̀sẹ̀ village àti alábàtà 40,000 naira ní plọ̀tì kan bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ẹ ó gba ìlàjì sí bó sì jẹ́ éèkà kan lẹ́ra odidi kan lẹ́gbà sí bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ní ilé oko ọ̀pẹ́jì 30,000 naira ní plọ̀tì kan bẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ẹ ti láǹfààní láti gba ìdajì sí bó sì jẹ́ éèkà kan lẹ́ra odidi plọ̀tì kan lẹ́gbà sí bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti ń ra àwọn ilẹ̀ yìí làwọn tó fẹ́ bá yín dúnàdúrà pàápàá lórí ilé oko yóò ti wà níkàlẹ̀ fọ́ mùtúdà bíọ́láwé ọlọ́dọ̀ ń ṣògo nílé gogoro daily express foundation gan ni wọ́n wà 08033086557 08033086557 ọgbọ́n ọ̀tún rèé láti dáwọ́lé iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìmọ̀ tó gáyàtà nítorí pé ẹ̀yin náà gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe àṣeyọrí lọ́dọ̀ tiwa.
àǹfààní yóò pin lógúnjọ́ oṣù kejìlá tá a wà yìí.
Admonlinks ló ń tọ́jú lówó gbogbo fóònù tẹ́ ń fẹ́.
kì í ṣe ní kì í ṣàná tí ilé ìtajà Admonlinks ti ń dẹ́rìn pẹ̀kẹ́ gbogbo oníbàárà tó ra fóònù laptop àti accessories lọ́dọ̀ wa tọdún bá dé ká fún ọdún fọ́dún. Admonlinks tún ti kẹ́bùn dálẹ̀ bìbà fún gbogbo ẹni bá ń bá wa náà. kìkì kí ẹ̀kan wọlé sílé ìtajà wa láti ra fóònù bíi Infinix, Huawei, Tecno, Redmi, Oppo, Samsung, Xiaomi àti Kidistar kí ẹ tẹ́wọ́ gbẹ̀bùn bí aṣọ ọdún, ọtí ẹlẹ́rìndòdò, ìrẹsì àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. bí a ṣe ń ṣe ẹ̀dínwó òpin ọdún là ń pín ẹ̀bùn lóríṣiríṣi. ẹ má gbàgbé à ń ṣe swap deal pàṣípàrọ̀ fóònù, screen insurance àti san díẹ̀díẹ̀. ojúlówó là ń tà a ò sì fowó nìyàn lára. Admonlinks wà lókè ìléwó ládojúkọ Glow office òkè ìléwó Abeokuta. a wà ní Ifọ̀ ìyànà Kókà bus stop Lagos Abeokuta expressway Ifọ̀. Admonlinks Ìbàfò wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ àfihàn ọba Ìbàfò bus stop Ìbàfò àtìlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ NEPA office Alágbólé Àkútè road Àkútè 0706-629-6347 tàbí 0806-882-4971 0806-882-4971.
December 31st ni promo yóò parí.
Admonlinks ojúlówó pọ́nbélé.
Hooray! It's another Christmas season and time to marry!
Yes, it's Christmas season, so
Flash 106.7 FM presents Christmas Fair 2021. This year's Christmas Fun Fair promises to give the children fun time with gifts and enough yummies that will make them merry all the way. From December 4th to 26th, 2021, a further Christmas grotto will be open to children of all ages at the Ogun State Ministry of Youth and Sports Recreation Center, front of MKO Abiola Stadium, Kuto, Abeokuta. With a token of 1,500 naira, your children will get to enjoy horse ride, train, pony ride, and rocket launcher with their favorite OAPs. Guess what? Schools, religious centers, and groups that register 50 children and above will also enjoy a whopping 7.5% discount. What are you waiting for? Come one and all as we jingle the bell all the way from 4th to 26th December 2021.
Merry Christmas!
Splash 106.7 FM 2021 Christmas Fun Fair. You don't want to sit this one out!
ẹ ṣeun o ẹ̀yin oníbàárà wa tẹ́ ẹ gbọ́ nípa Orange Friday tẹ́ ẹ sì fowó yín ralẹ̀ yẹn tẹ́ ẹ jẹ èrè ìdá 50% gain lójú ẹsẹ̀ adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ yín o fún àǹfààní ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ sọ wípé 800,000 naira pọ̀ àmọ́ tẹ́ ẹ bá rí èyí tó kéré sí ẹ̀yin náà fẹ́ jẹ ìgbádùn Orange Friday iléeṣẹ́ IAS ti ṣetán láti tẹ́ ẹ̀yin náà lọ́rùn gẹ́gẹ́ bí oníbàárà wa ọ̀wọ́n Orange Friday ẹ̀yin ẹ ṣàtìrí dájú pé ẹ pẹ̀lú àwọn olóríire tí wọ́n á ra plọ́ọ̀tì ilẹ̀ méjì táǹtà ní 400,000 naira lójú ẹsẹ̀ ilẹ̀ 600,000 naira ìyẹn púlọ̀tì mẹ́ta lẹ́yìn náà máa gba ọjọ́ yẹn gan ni èrè ìdá 50% gain ó ti gorí ilẹ̀ tẹ́ ra ọ̀hún ìwọ náà tètè kàn sí iléeṣẹ́ IAS tó bá súnmọ́ yín jùlọ torí ogúnjọ́ oṣù kejìlá yìí ní àǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ Orange Friday yìí máa kásẹ̀ lẹ̀ pé 081-51-63-63-81.
Hello, good people of Abeokuta and its environs. Have you heard about IPS Logistics Limited? IPS Logistics Limited is a logistics and package delivery company that does pick-up and delivery services according to customer specifications with no delay. IPS also handles sourcing, procurement, payment, and shipping of foreign items to Nigeria. Pẹ̀lú IPS Logistics Limited, ó ti dìrọ̀rùn fún ọ láti kó ẹrù ṣọwọ́ síbikíbi tí o bá fẹ́. A sì tún lè bá ọ kó ọjà wọ Nàìjíríà láti ilẹ̀ òkèèrè láì kó ọlọ́kà sókè. At IPS Logistics Limited, we handle self-delivery services in Ogun State for e-commerce businesses. Bí o sì ń wá Uber láti gbé ọ lọ síbikíbi. Kàn sí ọ́fíìsì IPS Logistics Limited ní second floor Django Shopping Complex Òkèlàntó roundabout Abiola Way Abeokuta. Telephone 0813-991-5553 or 0912-375-0070.
Download IPS Logistics app via Play Store and iOS for booking and other activities.
IPS Logistics Limited. Ó yára bí àṣà, ó fi ní lọ́kànbalẹ̀, ó ṣe é fọkàn tán.
Ó ń tán lọ.
Àkọlé màrà lẹ̀.
Kẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí ìdá àdọ́ta àgbájọ Homes and Property Nigeria Limited ilẹ̀ rẹ́ndà high level ìkìrìkú ìdá Ọ̀yá Dam Precious Estate 200,000 ní tẹ́lẹ̀ báyìí 100,000 lẹ́sàn. Ọ̀dẹ́dá Unicadi 300,000 ní tẹ́lẹ̀ báyìí 150,000 lẹ́sàn pẹ̀lú dọ́kúmẹ̀ntì yín àti àwọn ohun èlò ilé bíi plasma TV, washing machine, gas cooker, blender, 100 phone, bag of rice, òróró àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ilé oko ọ̀pẹ́jì, alábàtà, òṣèlè àti kọ́bapẹ́ 60,000 ní tẹ́lẹ̀ báyìí 30,000 lẹ́sàn. Táìbára plọ́ọ̀tì mẹ́ta ìdajì lẹ́gbàsí bó sì jẹ́ éèkà kan lẹ́ra ẹ ti láǹfààní láti gbórídìí plọ́ọ̀tì kan sí 39 NTA Road Ọ̀gbẹ́ Abeokuta 07044648338 07044648338. Ó ń tán lọ kẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ kò gbọ́dọ̀ fọ́ọ̀rù.
àǹfààní yóò pin lógúnjọ́ oṣù kejìlá tá a wà yìí.
Àkọlé màrà lẹ̀.
Don't dare touch that dial. It's Splash, your integrity station.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
All right, for those who are live on Facebook, you'll have seen some sort of back and forth between myself and DELE in the studio and our studio manager, Israel, right here. We'll keep that conversation private, okay? It's not supposed to go out to public knowledge, basically. But thank you for staying there and hanging in there, really. This is Panorama, and we're looking, for the issue of the day, we have just looked at Nigeria's fight against corruption, the indices and ways of tackling such a menace. DELE, I'm hoping you can answer this question in 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to from the pages. I'll read the comments on Facebook. And like I did reference before, please do not send your messages to WhatsApp this morning. Just go straight to Facebook at Splash FM 1067. Drop your comments on the live feed, and I'll read them. I'll be able to access that easily, as against if you send it to WhatsApp. The military, did they do a lot of damage in this fight against corruption?
They did damage, not to me, a lot. Why I refuse to agree with people that a lot is, if you are sincere, sincerity is not that we don't know what to do. We will have corrected all those damages. They're not the ones that cannot correct. They are Nigerians. They're still alive. And like I said, part of the excuse for every military coup, it is the same corruption that comes as the excuse.
Right.
So they did damage, but not in that reference of irreparable damage. No.
Okay, to the comments on Facebook now, let me get to them one after the other. Makorede Camille Adebayo says, corruption for me has become a way of life in Nigeria, one which existing governments neither wish nor can control. I think combating corruption requires a participatory democracy in which everyone is able to monitor and hold to account those in charge of the state and the treasury. Can Uncle Dele take us into the history of corruption in Nigeria? By this, I mean how it all began in the 40s and 50s before independence, and how we can reduce corruption to the breast minimum. How did I not see this much more earlier? We'll have done a class on history this morning.
It's a huge task, but it's something that would be interesting if I mention some of those things I know. It's not that it grew. It's always been there. Then it's absent in some class of Nigerians. Today it's in every class in Nigeria, corruption. I remember, again, there was a finance minister we had in this country, very affluent, and all those things. I'm talking of in the early days, in the early era. He had about 4 or 5 people that would carry just like the wedding gown. That's what he no, true. And then at that time, the highest vehicle you can use is the one we call the Mercedes Obokun. I think it's called 500 SCL now or something like that. I don't know if we have it. So we have them there. But they are still shame. They still have shame. I can walk up to them. There are some things you say to them, they feel bad. All those ones have disappeared. So just like I said, corruption did not exist in all class in Nigeria in those days. It existed, but today is in every class.
Virtually. Okay. Chiku Anthony Ayawo on Facebook also says, good AM. I am Oki Ayawo from Oyo. I am enjoying your program. The topic for this morning is key to national development. As a corrupt-free society, is a society where sustainable development is assured. A corrupt-free state has a multiplier effect on social, economic, and political development of such state. If Nigeria does not fight corruption headlong, corruption will destroy Nigeria. To tackle corruption, our leaders should follow the pattern of China, not scratching the surface. Ethnic and religious bigotry should be expunged from the system for the fight to be successful. Thanks. All right. Thank you very much for sending that in. Oluwatimi Lane Babarutimi Abayomi Gubono says, good morning, guys. Youth now days get intimidated as unserious youth and now the ones owning cars, living good lives, whereas serious ones find it difficult to survive despite living a focused life. Corruption and cybercrime killing this country gradually. Have a wonderful day. And there's some sort of not a response actually. Zakaria Lubai Taningbola on Facebook also says, fighting corruption must be taken serious from the top to the bottom. From the top to the bottom in this nation, we can still make it. And Akorede Kamila Adebayo now responds and he says, my brother, what are you saying? Your first line, what do you mean? Okay, so you can just sort that between yourselves and Facebook. Thank you for all of the engagement we've had on the issue of the day. We should now move on to the second segment from the pages. We have the Punch as well as Nigerian Tribune. I'll read them one after the other. The big story on the front page of the Punch is this. Hashtag North is bleeding protests. FG under attack as DSS police disperse arrest demonstrators. 3 riders. The first one says protest organizers arrested in Sokoto, Kaduna, Kano. Amnesty International. The second rider, UN says 2.9 million people displaced in North. States petition signed by 28,000. The third rider, no president has funded security agencies like Buhari, says Lai Mohammed. We'll get to that back and forth. Of course, former President Olusegun Obasanjo also released a statement in that regard, which Lai Mohammed also responded to. We have this as well. Ondo or a highway deplorable turning to bandwidth haven. That's coming from a rep. You'll find that on page 16. Woman jailed 7 years for stealing, selling baby for 300,000 naira. Accomplice remanded. You'll find that one on page 4. Assembly laments as bandits kill lawmaker on Kaduna Highway. You find that on page 5. ASU meets Saturday decides on planned strike over unfulfilled agreements. Well, we had the chairman of the chapter of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta of ASU some weeks ago and gave a bit of insight into what was happening with ASU in that instance. But then this is the story. You find it on page 34 of the Punch newspaper. Lagos diploma holder filmed jumping into lagoon. Family searches for body. You'll find that on pages 4 and 5. Sad story. You also find this. Wike Emmanuel Obaseki boasts of PDP's capacity to rescue Nigeria. You'll find that one on page 7. Heavy security as FG arraigned 15 suspects over Audley's home raid. You'll find that on page 34. Reps order probe of Navy's $195.3 million equipment contract to foreign firm. You'll find that on page 28. National Assembly members fear faults DSS over Utah kidnap warning. You find that on page 16. FG debt servicing gulps 2.49 trillion naira in 9 months. This is coming from the Debt Management Office, DMO. You find that on page 23. Cases rise. 107 inbound passengers test positive for COVID-19 in 1 week. You find that on page 20. Those are the stories on the front page of the Punch. Out. Make a switch over now to Nigerian Tribune. The big story on the front page says FEC okays 20% pay increase for police officers. A number of riders. The first one is state supplementary budgets would be prepared when necessary. That's from the finance minister. The second rider, 5,472 personnel to get 13.1 billion naira death benefits. You find that on page, that's second rider, pardon me. And the third and final rider is this. Approves 1.2 billion naira for payment of outstanding burial expenses of personnel between January 2012 and 2021. You find the details of all of that on page 15. And we have this as well. FG blasts leaders criticizing Buhari over insecurity. You find that on page 8. 7 dead, 19 injured in Ibadan accident. You find that on page 25. We have this as well. Skulls, roasted bodies, heads found in kidnappers' den in Imo. This is from the Department of State Service, DSS. You find that on page 28. ASUP, threatens to resume suspended strike. Well, the one on the Punch was ASU. Now, this is ASUP Polytechnics. 2 riders. The first one says demand immediate release of 15 billion revitalization fund. And the second rider, payment of 10 months salary arrears. You find that on page, the details of that you find on page 12. Senate approves Buhari's $5.8 billion 2018 to 2020 external borrowing request. The rider says, okay, it's $10 million grant component. You find the details of that one on page 2. Subsidy removal. More taxes will ground Nigeria. Middle Belt Group 1's FG. A rider says TUC wants against multiple taxation. You find that on page 15. Also, seizure of assets. Appellate court grants Jimo Ibrahim leave to refile applications. You find that on page 24. Inflation rate falls to 15.40%, says NBS, that's the National Bureau of Statistics. You find that on page 6. Gunmen kill Kaduna lawmaker. You find that on page 25. NPC proposes 400 billion naira budget for census. You find that on page 8. And finally, FG arraigned 15 suspected invaders of Justice Odili's residence. You find that on page 24. The picture that you find on the front pages of the 2 papers that I have before me, the Punch as well as Tribune, is that of members of the North and South Alliance during a protest on insecurity in Abuja. And that happened yesterday. For the Tribune, the caption is this way: members of the North-South Alliance and Take It Back movement during a protest tagged North is bleeding against growing insecurity in the North in Abuja yesterday. And that's what would start from this morning with Dele still with us here in the studio. This dispersal of these demonstrators, is this, I don't want to go the way of saying maybe another tick in the box of, because some believe that for some reason or the other, this federal government just is, for what it's worth, just against protests, for people to make their grievances known by way of protest and all of that. And the fact that this is coming from the North and the dispersal still happened, what do you make of this development?
I will make statements that are not going to be popular, typical of me, like this. First, I know it's the right of everybody to protest. It's the right of your 1-month-old baby to protest against you. The format, the way in which that protest is done may be different. But the reality, the facts, with the prevailing situation in this country, does it permit a public protest? Does it permit blockage of public arena roads? My answers are no. My answers are no. We've seen, we have a lot of stories to tell about something simply because, just as part of what we are saying, we have a lot of hungry and angry people who are simply opportunists waiting for such moments to explode. And every government of Nigeria, including Dele Ayodo, if I'm the head of government, will be mindful of that. I will want to prevent it. Because the aftermath of it, even those of you who are organizing it, may live to regret it. May live to regret it. That's my position today about public protests or street protests. While I agree that there are a lot of things to protest upon in this country, but the use of public protest or blockade of road is not ideal for this situation.
What means then exists?
Yes, there are other formats. I've always said to this, people prefer the one that looks as more aggressive and to them instant result. It never gives us result. For instance, we have all these our representatives. Now everybody has a representative who is close to you. You understand that? Who is close to you? For instance, I'm from Yewa South. I don't have to come to Abeokuta here to join those who are in Abeokuta South, Abeokuta North, Odeda, Obafemi Awowode, who are close to Abeokuta for any protest. We can organize our own in front, right at the entrance, right at the street of our representative, filmed to carry the message on. You understand that? We can show, those are things we are not using now. We can show the apathy when they come, they say they want to do this kind of thing and completely boycott. Leave them do their thing. It works. The only difference is you may think it does not give you the instant result, but it gives you a permanent, lasting result. That having to be seen converge under the bridge, block the main road. You understand me? There's some other civil way of protesting.
But Dele, is that not what happened with the NSAS protest? Because for what I remember, it wasn't exactly centralized. It was at different locations at different times. But
it was centralized.
How do you mean?
It was centralized at different locations. Of course, the one in Abeokuta here, you can, if you see Google, you see the call asking people to converge at a certain point, which a lot of people did. So, but rather than, that's what I mean, rather than a lot of us come to Abeokuta, why don't those who are in Peru, the governor's house area, stay there? Those who are in Ifo, the speaker's area, stay there. Those who are close to our senators in the 3 zones, stay there. It makes even this alleged shooting or harassment by police more difficult. Because now the police will just to mobilize everybody, go to under the bridge. You understand? But when we are scattered, like I've said, it becomes more difficult for them to harass us. They will be forced to be civil and use the feminine, apology, I'm not a sexist, the feminine voice, I've just been a Yoruba, to talk to us. In other words, appeal to us. Those are the kind of things. Let us begin to shame them rather than being their instruments. Let's begin to use that rather than give opportunity for those who change the good intention to something all of us who organize it. Okay. And then eventually some people will also make money. They use us as bargain out of that protest. That's my thinking.
Okay, let's move on to another story now. And this has to do with the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who has said that despite the security challenges that is bedeviling the nation at the moment, no president in the history of Nigeria has funded security agencies like current President Buhari. As a matter of fact, this was in response to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who had said Buhari had done his best to prefer solutions to the security challenges confronting the nation, adding that Nigerians should not expect more from him, as this would be tantamount to whipping a dead horse. Well, the question that came to my mind when I saw this from Lai Mohammed is, if the president has funded, according to him, as being the president has funded security agencies more than any other one in the history of the nation, how then is it that we've had the issue of insecurity as heightened as it is now, like no other time in the history of this nation? Is it that the funds are not getting to the right quarters, they are being siphoned? There has to be an answer for, or an explanation of sorts to what Lai Mohammed is saying.
I don't think I will be fit to say Lai Mohammed is wrong, or has not said, because I don't have the access to those comparisons he talked about. But Like I say often, I'm a man of CMARC, SEEMARK, not a mark, not EARMARK, the common word. I want to see it before I begin to mark, okay, this is what has been done. So if I want to use my CMARC, I will say Alhaji Lai Mohammed is wrong. I'll say it's wrong. It's obvious. It's obvious. I am not going to directly blame Mr. President. And I've said this severally. I would disagree with anybody who say any government, even the Abacha regime that many people, not all, claim to be the worst in government, cannot be said to have not done anything for this country, positive. So I'm not in that class of people who say this government or any government has not done anything. What they've done may not meet my expectation. I may be disappointed, just like I'm disappointed with the current affairs, but that does not mean they've not done anything. Now, what I see as my president's fault, it could not be a direct desire to do so. It could be other things that I'm not seeing. Is that his body language or languages insinuations. Some people say innuendos depicts that let them do it. You understand? I'm not saying that's what you say, but that's what I'm reading. Because the moment you delay an action, it becomes an inaction. At the moment there's an inaction, you get a negative action. That's what I'm saying. That's the only area in which I can fault my president. So people say, okay, there's a wisdom in his keeping quiet, in his delaying response and all these things. But I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. That's the only area in which I can say my president is faulty, because many of those who are bringing this shame in terms of insecurity to Nigerians are acting as if nobody can deal with us. And the situation is also looking as if nobody is dealing with them. That's my difference. So I may not be able to say categorically, Alhaji Mohammed, that this government has not funded more than anybody, but I know that there are also a lot of contradictions in Alhaji Mohammed's statement today, that of Mr. President yesterday, and some other times. Mr. President has called on the governors to go and do their work at home. So if they've done enough funding, I don't think that's what Mr. President will say. It's comparisons. So like I said, I'm just comparing what I see. Remember that. So I don't think Mr. President will ask the governors to go and there. I don't think if they've done their work, what do they call it? The governors will be crying that they need more power to be assertive as CSOs, Chief Security Officers. So that I said, there are some contradictions. And that's where I'm seeing what I'm seeing to mark my own indices.
If precedents are anything to go by, as it concerns this government, as a matter of fact, I think it was on Monday that Daily Trust made an editorial about how they feel the president has not done enough as well as it concerns insecurity. And I think it was that day or the following day, Garba Shehu, the president's spokesman, also made a statement to counter that. And so we've seen this sort of pattern where for everything that might not sit well with this current administration, his spokesman will come out and release counter statements. Can we get to a point whereby there is that agreement with, okay, yeah, on this occasion, you were right, and so we need to fix it, from either the president or his spokesman?
No, I don't understand that they should contradict what Mr. President has said?
That's for, I mean, in this instance, now it was Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president, who referenced and said Buhari has tried his best, and so Nigerians should not expect more for him to do anything as it concerns insecurity. But it's like Mohammed also countering what the former president has said. And so I'm saying, can we get to that point whereby there is a concurrence between the spokesman of the president and with whatever anybody has said about the administration?
No, we will never. I don't think we even need to get to that place. Just say the truth. I don't think we need to get to the point that say, okay, no, just say the truth. And some people will also look at the other one that is becoming a style of governance. in this country. I won't forget, I'm not young and it's not far to know that, yes, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has the might to say anything about this one, whether you agree or disagree with him. But he has also shown precedence. He has also given us reference points to say you started it. Yes. He hired people specifically to do the attack job, public attack job in this one. I don't want to mention names, but I'm not young to know, and it's not too long for me to forget easily. They are there. Anybody can check. You can refer to it. So these are facts on ground. So we don't have to get to that point. We may not get to that point. I don't think we even need to get bothered about that. What I would simply say, like I said, that all of them, our leaders, eventually becoming phobias. You say the truth, do the truth at all times.
Okay, let's move on to another story. The numbers for you to call to be a part of the conversation, we'll get to the phone lines very shortly, but just note them. 0817-444-1067, 0817-444-1067, 0817-555-1067, and 0704-400-1067. Again, we're live on Facebook. There is a video feed, a live one that you find when you access our Facebook page, and you can drop us your comments as regards any of the stories, and perhaps you still want to jump on the conversation from the issue of the day. You're definitely welcome to do that. And this next story is from the National Assembly members, 14 DSS over Utah kidnap warning. Well, apparently the DSS released some sort of warning to the National Assembly members about some sort of intel that they've come across and how the National Assembly members should take care in this regard. You know, let's start with the DSS in this regard now. The fact that they have the intel, are they supposed to make it public as against working on such an intel, or are they incapacitated to work on such an intel?
Benga, permit me that I'm not going to ask your question directly. Okay. I read the DSS statement. I've not read that reaction of the National Assembly, and simply what I'll say is it's like the Yoruba adage. The child, your toddler, if you want to teach him, don't put your finger into that fire. Don't put your finger. If he continues to play around and leave him, let him put his hand. I think the DSS has done their job. Whether it is trying to make it public or private, I think it's difficult to make it private. Because they are not just alerting them, they are alerting other Nigerians. So if they feel bad about that, to me, I don't think we should waste time on that. Leave them. Let them do what they want to do. They want to go and celebrate. Let them. I pray everybody celebrates and be happy.
What hope then is there for the common man if this is to National Assembly members?
No, that's all of us. We also no. I think was it not the Oni? It was also that was talking to in an occasion where many of them are there. Benga, you are not scared to stay here. You are not scared to go. You do it all the time. Abi? You are among them. They know you. You know they will know Mobeche don't run away. Just like the thing. So you are not scared. It's part of it. So they are the ones who needs to come with whatever they want to come to protect themselves. So it's really that bad. That's a fact. So that's why I don't want to dwell into whether DSS was right or not. That's the reality. A lot of boys are waiting for them. They're waiting for them. So I don't really want to. So if they like, let them take that. If they don't, but the advice is not for them alone. It's for everybody who is reasonable. That's my position, Larry.
Okay, let's take calls now. 0817-444-1067, 0704-400-1067, as well as 0817-555-1067. Again, we're live on Facebook, and so you could also drop us comments if you so wish on that platform. Just ensure to search at Splash FM 1067, and the live feed that you find is where you should drop us that comment of yours. We have a caller now on the line. Hi, good morning once again, Afaladi.
Good morning. Good morning once again.
Yes, Afolabi, thanks for calling us.
Mr. Dele, please, I want to ask this question. It was read today that some security officials that went to Odili's house were arrested and are arraigned now.
Right.
Is it not that those guys are just victims of the system? Because there must be an instruction from somewhere and from somebody. And to the best of my understanding, there was a warrant issued to the effect. So is it not that those guys are just meant to be victims of the system? Somebody must be responsible from the top. What about that person that is responsible from the top?
Thank you
Mr. Afolabi, I'm sorry if I'm going to disappoint you. I'm an experienced reporter. The case is not in court. So public comments like this will be subjudicial, particularly in the area you are getting into speculations about who did what, who will be punished. It will be subjudicial. Except when the judgment comes out and things begin, so we can now comment on that. Thank you.
All right, we'll take more calls. 0817-444-1067, 0704-400-1067. I know 817-555-1067. Here we have a caller. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Nicholas.
Nicholas, talk to us.
Thinking that revising defense budgets it will tackle insecurity alone. It's like thinking that soup will be sweet because the ingredients are expensive, or that a club will win the Champions League because all the players are expensive, or thinking that flogging in the teaching system. There are other factors. Engagement.
Where end it as top 4 because they started badly.
well, our president has blamed. He has blamed the death of the Chadian president. Some weeks ago, he even blamed lack of family values. The Federation even went as far as blaming evil forces. Well, some of us remember him as a fourth square apostle. You see, then like Mohammed blames fake news. You see, it is only a footballer who is not skilled that will be blaming the referee, the pitch, the weather, or his football boots. But you see, it appears that since this attack entered Sokoto, it now meant that if insecurity was now existing. Because when a state, in that state feels it is born to rule, and people are being burnt like Asom, I'm happy the Sultan and Basrawa had the testicular cojones to now join the cries of Bishop Kuka. 2 years ago, all the Catholic bishops in this country, they protested. Colonel Umar has spoken. Even the former president, who was a military and civil president, who has a vindicated position, more than Lai Mohammed, to compare and contrast, has spoken. The Onions Ife spoke. These men cannot even... The DSS, I don't think they were installed to protect only 1,005 Nigerians who are probably safe in Maitama, Asokoro, or Lekki, and might not be easily attacked. But let no one be... He who are standing tall should take heed, because the Republic can be attacked from any means. If our NDA was attacked, am I the one who is saying I don't cannot? Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Nicholas, for talking to us. Hello, good morning. Please turn off your radio. You have to turn it off.
No.
Okay, when you're ready for us, please do call us again. Once you connect and we patch you through, please ensure to turn off your radio so we can have a very smooth conversation. Here is someone else. Hi, good morning.
Hello, Splash.
Mabarere, good morning to you.
God bless you. I'm a guy, I'm Babarere, like you said. I'm calling from Okanto. I want to speak to you in the person, attack, killing, murder, Allah, Kaduna, Abuja highway. Because this thing has now become regular. If it is, why can't the security, authorities or agencies, put a permanent, if it is roadblock on some sections of the highway, so that there will be crisscrossing along the road all the time. If you look at within 1 week now, people have been kidnapped and along that route, then taken into the bush. People, some killed. So I don't know this Tucano of a thing that the federal government has just acquired. What are they using it for? Because if area patrol is being put on that exit, that road regularly, either morning, afternoon, or midnight, because I think they say this Tucano of a thing.
Sorry, Babari, you are a security person. Can Tucano be used for patrol?
I'm not even thinking it's not patrol, but by the time, because like this last incident, they said this, I will say, hotel, they said they operated for about 3 hours along that road. So if that is so, I think they would have given this pilot.
Because I thought Tucano is a fighter plane.
Yes, that is what I'm not saying that you, but they can, if those terrorists are operating along that axis, they can come and hit. I mean, what do you say? Shall we be thinking every day we receive this news? People abducted, people kidnapped along that same axis. You know, that axis is just like Lagos Ibadan Express Road. That links Abuja to the northwest. So why is it every week? Which is now story. People kidnapped, people killed. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Babari, for calling us. We can take more calls if you so wish to be part of this. Really,
okay. Do you have somebody? I just want to say something. If we have a call, just pick it on Babari, because I've always objected to it, and I'm not convinced, even as seated, that security roadblocks have solved the problem. If you've been to the north, anywhere across, you see the level, or even traveling to Benin, of roadblocks. It's even frustrating for you who is honest on the journey. And yet we still have all these people taking people in trickles, in dozens away. It simply means it's not effective. To me, rather than have them stationed at a particular point where you don't know what is happening to them, one, equip them with mobile patrols, these high-powered bikes, so what they call speed cars, new ones, about 3 going that direction, another coming from this direction, with well-treated communication system. That we have one stationed at a point, not blocking any road, at different points, say about 5 or 10 or 20 kilometers apart from each other, so that all of them can move at a time when there is an emergency call. That will work. As far as the Super Tucano is a fighter aircraft. It's meant to attack, go to a particular place. It's not to figure out one person out. If you use a Super Tucano for now, you are probably going to kill the victims. So that's what I think that should happen. It is a reactionary timing. And those who are not just sitting in a place and block road and create more problems for innocent people. And even giving, if roadblocks have worked, how then can they kidnap somebody here in Abeokuta and is discovered in Kogi? Count the number of roadblocks it will pass through. So it has not worked. We should just simply remove them. That's my position.
All right, here is someone else on the line now. Hi, good morning. What's your name?
Good morning. This is Abeokuta from Abeokuta.
Abeokuta, thanks for calling us.
Yeah, my contribution this morning is looking more like a conspiracy here. If we flash back in the days of Babangida, he just called the IG and he said, "Where is Anini?" And within few weeks, Anini was apprehended. So it means that it's not, and the police we have today is more sophisticated than the police we had then. So there is a conspiracy, in my own opinion, about this banditry and the insecurity in the country. All the president needed to do is to ask the IG, when are you stopping insecurity? And I can assure you, you'll be surprised at the speed at which the police force will move. If he knows his job is threatened, if these things are not arrested. Concerning the lawmakers that were complaining that the notice period has been made, I'm surprised. If they want Nigeria, if they want to be safe, they should understand that the best way to be safe is to make Nigerians safe and secure. If they are not giving good governance, they should know that their security too, after some time, will be threatened, which is what is beginning to happen now. An angry man, we always say, is an angry man. So if you are coming back home to enjoy Christmas in the midst of hungry people, I think they should know what they should expect. I don't pray that it happens, but when you push people to the wall, at times, Nigerians like to break the wall rather than face what is pursuing them. But I think today, they are beginning to see that Nigerians are no longer trying to break the wall. They are trying to turn back now and face those who have put them to the wall. I pray God will help us in this country. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Ayo Adesharonke, for calling us. Again, Facebook is not accessible right now, so if you so wish to be a part of the conversation, just make use of Facebook instead. Okay, make use of Facebook instead if you so wish to be part of the conversation. Do not send messages to WhatsApp. We'll take another call now. Hello, good morning.
Let me be on with
yes,
Dele.
yes,
You
just
see,
one.
what I'm saying here, it's not about permanent roadblocks on the road. You totally block the road. There are some, security points that you can even use this pole or police. They make their tent, yes, they do their tent at the side of the road. Then there are information to those points. The men can now zoom up with their station vehicle. I'm not saying totally you block the road. That is what I'm saying, but do we now continue to hear every week? Okay, nothing along that argument. That's very important argument. You know how much the federal government has spent, still spending on that very argument to calm the cost of kidnapping every day. Every week along that. So that is what I'm saying. I'm not saying totally you block the road, but there is a system you can evolve. By, along the road, there are points that security and their vehicle will be stationed. Report given to them, and then they zoom up and attend to the emergency. Thank you. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying totally you block the road. Because you go say that, at least say, roadblock come back.
Noted, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Bavari, for calling us once again. On Facebook, some comments. Akorede Camille Adebayo says, on the second segment of Panorama, on say Lai Mohammed has been a professional at what he does and what he says best since his days as APC spokesperson. President Buhari is indeed tackling insecurity, at least by watching bandits having field operations. Uncle Lai is right, Jerry. Sultan of Sokoto can testify. Okay, maybe I get the sarcasm in the tone of your message.
Yeah, I understand.
All right, he also goes on to say on another message that was saying that corruption in Nigeria has become a way of life. Everybody's involved in one way or the other, and that successive governments and the current one can't seem to control or find a solution to it. Well, finally, before we wrap it up all up this morning, this story caught my attention. I just read a few details while we were engaging some callers some moment ago. The fact that Lagos diploma holder was filmed jumping into a lagoon and family are still searching for the body. The sad story today says the man who was filming seemingly made no attempt to rescue him. He was just pretty concerned about getting the video and putting it up on social media. The question is, have we become that numb to, human lives as to putting up something on social media?
I'll try to separate it because there are different angles, so many angles to that film. I saw the clip, less than 30 seconds. I know it was less than a minute. Just like that is sad aspect about how we use these our gadgets. That is sad aspect. But again, what will he have done? It's more complex. It's more bigger about how we use it. So I don't want to go back. What will he have done at that point? In civilized country, in advance, that's the part of my problem. Why I said, my president, I think, was it not my brother Ayade that I said the president comparing what the IBB did with Etimiang. Right. That's when I said, where is Anina and all those things. As I referred to about my president inactions or quiet actions. The 5G we are talking about and other technology that these people have helped us to develop is an advantage. We will also, it has reduced, it has given us the solution to those problems. That should have been a link at that point with the emergency units for such that as the man is recording, he just press the link so that those who can do something will come and do something. the man can't do anything at that point. You understand that? Right. So those are my worries. That's why I said a lot of these are leaders. The style of administration we have now should be what I call government of the unusual. We should stop doing things the usual way. I don't see that they roll out number even when they say it's free toll, point, pom, 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 pom. I've been in an occasion, Benga, Israel, Israel, right. I know that may you never be in that situation. That to write one, just figure one, you will not be able to. To press 0 on your phone, your hand will beat. You won't even know where 0 is. But such device will have been made that any button perhaps at that point you press will give you the thing. These are the thinking I want the ministry, communication, what do they call it, digital. They're just sitting down, passing file from one table to the other. That's what I'm saying. You understand better? Right. The other aspect of it, I'm sorry to take it. I don't reason on emotion only. Everybody is emotional at a point in time, but I'm very realistic more than be emotional. I saw that young man, the way he looked. You can go back, watch the video again and again. It looked like somebody was under a different influence. I don't want to mention it. It's my suspicion that some of those things, they shake in bottle. So maybe when they begin to unravel who he is, what happened, and maybe that will get clear. But that's what it looks to me. I don't think it was just frustration or any other thing.
Or depression.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to go. We should thank Dele for a bit. But on the point you referenced about calling emergency numbers, I mean, I have tried it before, and I was patched to Lagos for emergency, and I wonder the speed they would take to get down here. I don't know the workings of these things, but I just had to reference that. But maybe that has changed. I'll never know. I just had to put that out. But Dele, thank you very much for being here since 8 o'clock. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much, Asira. Thank you, everybody.
All right, Panorama will make a return tomorrow. But don't forget, you can take your children to the fun fair happening at the Ogun State Ministry of Youth and Sports Recreation Center, MKO Abiola International Stadium, Kutu Abeokuta. We'll be glad to host you and have your children. 1,000 naira, 1,500 naira per child. And you also get to hang out with your favorite OAPs, by the way. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.